Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Today my quotation is, even if you persuade me, you don't persuade me. And it's by an unknown source, by an unknown author. Today I will be, my interpretation of that is that even if someone has given you an explanation of something, if someone has given you a reason to believe something, you may not truly believe it anyway. It may take more than that just to persuade you. And I agree with that. My three examples that I will use today in our discussion of this quotation are Adolf Hitler in the grand scheme of World War II, Bill Clinton and the Monica Lewinsky situation, and it'll also be Democrats and Republicans. As we see this all the time, it goes back and forth. They pretty much live by that moniker. As far as you can persuade me, but I'm not persuaded, I'm still going to stand firm. Okay, so today, initially, we're going to talk about Hitler, as I brought up, whatever. During World War II, Adolf Hitler kept pushing to reunite the German-speaking people, the German-speaking population. And Americans were okay with that for a minute. We allowed it to continue because he was persuading us that this was all he was doing. This is all he wanted to do, is reunite the German-speaking population. There was nothing else. He had no hidden agenda, allegedly. Us as Americans knew better. We sent spies in. We ended up finding out that this was, in fact, false. With that, we did enter the war later because we wanted to be fully informed before we made a bad decision on the situation. So even though he tried to persuade us, he didn't fully persuade us. We still kind of had a safety there to make sure we weren't caught off guard. Now that I've spoken about Hitler and the grand scheme of World War II and how even though he had persuaded us, we weren't fully persuaded, I'm going to speak about Clinton and Lewinsky. See, if you don't fully know about Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky, in about 98, 2000, it was headlines everywhere. They made the tabloids after the incident with Flowers. One of his press interns, Monica Lewinsky, had accused him of sexually conducting himself with a cigar, basically. And he came out, and instead of addressing the issue directly, he persuaded the American population that he was an honest person. He went about it a different way. And America re-voted him. He got a second term. As he had persuaded us, everybody in America, to re-elect him. He didn't persuade anyone because at the same time, everybody kept bad-mouthing him for what he did to his wife, Hillary Clinton. For Monica Lewinsky, look how she gets treated. Now look how she's getting looked at in the media. So even though he had persuaded us of his lack of wrongdoing, no one really let him off the hook. He still, for all he did as a president, we still think of him as Monica Lewinsky and Bill Clinton. They're forever connected. Okay, now that I've spoken about Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky, I want to address the Democrats and Republicans because, as the quote states, even if you persuade me, you don't persuade me. That's, like I stated, that's the moniker of the Democrats and Republicans. You can spend all the time you want telling me your side of your issue. At the end of the day, I don't give two shits. You can talk to your blue in the face. In fact, they have that is a form of a meeting. It's filibuster where they can sit there and just read the phone book until you just give up. You just give up. I can't stay here any longer. So you persuaded me that you care more about this than I do. So they'll leave. They'll give up on that particular issue. And they come back, and they keep persisting that their issue is right. You always see the government, they won't vote. They'll no show on a vote. And then they persist that this is their stand. This is what they believe in. Yet, although they've been persuaded by the other opposing people, opposing party, they never really let it go. So they were never really, in fact, persuaded, which ultimately wraps up with the quotation, even if you persuade me, you don't persuade me, which is the quotation. I believe that it's a true quotation, and I agree with my interpretation of the quotation, because even if someone's giving you every reason in the world not to trust them, sometimes you got to go with your gut, and so maybe if you can persuade me, you're still not going to persuade me.
Did he agree at first?
Yes.
Yes.
He did?
Yep.